Hello and welcome back. Today we have Platinum Review number 9, Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise is an action RPG released in 2021 for multiple platforms, but personally, I played the PlayStation 5 version. Developed and published by Bandai Namco, Tales of Arise is the latest release in the Tales series following 2016's Tales of Berseria, although the story is independent of the other games in the series. The opening scene provides a brief history of the conflicting worlds of Dana and Rena and sets the stage for events to come.
In ages long past, it was believed that Mother Dana was indestructible and everlasting. Rena, on the other hand, was thought to be the domain of the gods, a paradise where the souls of the departed could rest forevermore. Oh, how wrong we were. In the face of Rena's unimaginable technology, its soldiers, clad in huge, shining armor, and its fearsome beasts, known as Zeugles, the prosperity and bounty of Dana all but disappeared overnight. That was 300 years ago. The world of Dana fell under Renan rule, and its new masters split the land into 5 distinct realms. And now today, Orbis Calaglia, one of the Renan's 5 realms. It is ruled over by the tyrant Balsev, Lord of the Firemaster Corps. Unrelenting fire scorches this barren wasteland. Dust storms course over the rocks and crags, and no relief is to be found from the oppressive heat. The Danan people toil as slaves. Day after day they suffer, under the ruthless oppression of the Renan soldiers, with only one hope of escape: death.
We then get a look at the harsh conditions of everyday slave life for those Danans unfortunate enough to be born in the realm of Calaglia, and are introduced to the main protagonist, Iron Mask. Right away, we get a glimpse into his character, as he assists a young boy and takes a hit for him.
Thank you, Iron Mask.
That's okay, Cole. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine. Iron Mask, you You're bleeding. We need to get you looked at by Doc.
That bad, huh? Better safe than sorry, I suppose.
Injured from this, Iron Mask is treated by Doc. Here, we learn even more about this mysterious character. It turns out that he not only can't remove his helmet, but he also has no memories of his identity and is unable to feel any pain.
So, still unable to remember anything, I take it?
Blank as always. Nothing but that strange dream.
No face, no memories. Unable to feel pain, yet only too eager to take on everybody else's.
Iron Mask is angry with how Calaglia is run, but the other slaves keep quiet. The next morning, a Renin transport is attacked by a resistance group and derailed. On board, they discover human cargo, a female Renin, but she is chained up. The group frees her, but when they attempt to touch her, an intense power bursts from her, injuring anyone she comes into contact with. This allows her to escape, where she hides before Iron Mask stumbles upon her.
Such short notice.
Hey, you're...
Over there! Don't move!
Go now!
Huh?
Hurry, get moving!
Stay still! You caused us a lot of trouble, you know. Now we can do this the easy way, or not.
Although she is a Renin, Iron Mask helps her escape and fight off her captors. Eventually, the resistance group returns and helps fight with him. A Renin soldier attempts to grab her, but learns the hard way that is not possible. Together, they all escape. The game then cuts to Lord Balsa, who is angry, as it turns out he was the one who held the woman, Shion, captive.
You all missed your chance to become Lord, which means you lot live and die for me, the mighty Balsav! Got that through your skulls? Now hurry up and bring me Shion! Yes, sir!
A little while later, Iron Mask then awakes from a strange dream inside a safe house of the Crimson Crows, the resistance group he encountered earlier.
Ah, damn it! So it wasn't a lie. The slightest touch is like being struck by lightning.
He proceeds to meet up with the leader of the Crimson Crows, Zephyr, who is watching his men fail to interrogate Shion as they get zapped by her electrical attack called Thorns. Zephyr speaks with Shion, and tension is very high, as the Danans don't trust a Renin, even if she was being held by her own kind.
It doesn't seem to be poison or magic. Is this the reason Balsef's soldiers were after you?
Drop the attitude. Did you really think we wouldn't find out anything about you? Miss Shion Imaris? Yeah, that's right. This lady's got herself a surname, which means one thing. She's a Renin, our enemy.
Yeah, but she was being chased by Renin soldiers. So then, why?
That's exactly what we're trying to figure out. After all, aside from the clothes they wear, there's only one way to tell a Danon from a Renin, and that's whether their eyes light up or not. Ain't that right, Bright Eyes?
Big talk for someone who can't even use astral arts. Embedded.
Don't you call us embedded! Look, you see the stone your people embedded in me? There isn't one. Because we gouged them out the day we swore to rise up against your kind. This scar's a reminder, not to rest until every last one of you is...
We Danons may not be capable of using astral arts, but it looks like those thorns of yours won't do you much good in escaping here either.
Still, inflicting pain on anyone who comes near you, that's one hell of an ability.
You're wrong. You think this curse is some kind of great ability?
Curse.
The conversation is cut short when an alarm signals an ambush and they must leave to deal with the enemies. The player then gets to learn the basic controls of combat as Iron Mask fights an enemy soldier. The combat is real-time and not turn-based like other RPGs. Iron Mask can utilize normal sword attacks or special moves called arts. Arts are more powerful but are limited in use as they must be recharged, and different types can be customized and assigned to the various buttons. Another available and vital tactic is evading incoming attacks, and precise timing rewards the option to counterattack. Iron Mask makes quick work of these early enemies and reaches Shion. He reaches out and touches her despite the thorns, and they fight off armored soldiers together. After the battle, Iron Mask speaks with Shion.
Why did you help me? What could a Danon like you possibly gain from helping a Renin like me?
Trust me, I've no great love for Renins. I guess I'm just not as consumed with hatred as some...
What?
Have we met somewhere before?
Me? Friends with a Danon? Can't say I've had the pleasure.
Completing battles will yield several rewards, including XP points, skill points, and potentially item drops. As Iron Mask goes to move forward, an on-screen prompt appears to view a skit. These extra scenes are optional, but provide additional dialogue and character details that expand on the story and develop relationships amongst characters. As the game progresses, the skits really show the subtle character growth over time. For a trophy, you must view 300 of these throughout the game, so be on the lookout and make sure to trigger these when they appear. You don't have to actually watch the whole thing for the trophy, as they can be skipped, but the extra details brought everything together and were essential to get the full experience out of the story. From here, Iron Mask and Shion catch up with Zephyr, and the game provides another unique cutscene, this time in the form of traditional 2D animation.
Apprehend the traitor! Slaughter the rest! Look out!
The enemy soldiers attack, and even hit Shion in the chest with an arrow. However, as she falls to the ground, flames burst from her as she screams in pain. Iron Mask rushes to her side, and despite the thorns, pulls the arrow out. Strangely, instead of an arrow, he pulls out a blazing sword, and it is revealed that Shion had a hidden Master Core embedded within her.
A blazing sword? But how?
Impossible.
The Master Core. He was embedded within her all along. No matter. Kill her if you have to. Just retrieve the core.
With the blazing sword, Iron Mask defeats the enemies with a single swing, but shortly after, he kneels in pain, as wielding the sword has badly damaged his arm. The sword and core return to Shion, who proceeds to heal his injuries.
It's one of my healing arts.
A sword that sears the hand of he who wields it, and a healing art to mend. A man numb to pain, and a woman whose very touch deals nothing but.
Thank you.
Together with Zephyr, the three travel through Calaglia until they spot Lord Balsef's castle in the distance.
That's...
Ganymede Castle. Stronghold of Lord Balsef, self-imposed ruler of all Calaglia.
I've never seen it from this close before.
That's it, all right. And next to it are the gates of fire. Take a good long look while you still can. That wall is what we've come to tear down. The only thing standing between us and freedom.
While traversing the various lands, you can collect items found around the terrain. These will serve many eventual purposes, such as crafting, cooking, and merchant trade. As they continue, they come across a campsite, which serves as a place to rest and recover all health and healing points, as well as a marker for fast travel. Also available at campsites is the ability to rewatch any previously seen skits. Around the fire, they talk about Shion's Master Core and the Renins.
A Master Core, huh? Now I see. So that's why Balsef's cronies were so desperate to catch her.
Is that what it's called? The jewel in her chest?
Tell me, you ever wonder why we Danans are made to work ourselves to the bone, day in, day out?
Well, when you put it like that, I always just assumed we were mining resources for them.
Listen, what the Renins are really after isn't resources or minerals. It's astral energy. They're harvesting the astral energy that sleeps inside all matter in life forms. And they're doing it the same way they have for the past 300 years, using us Danans as mere siphons.
Right. They have machines for minerals, but extracting from Danans requires spirit cores. Any astral energy collected passes through a spirit vessel on its way to being stored in a master core.
But why go to the trouble of collecting all this energy in the first place? Do they really need all that juice just to use astral arts?
It determines the Sovereign.
Sovereign? Is that the Renin ruler?
Exactly. 5 lords, each doing whatever it takes to gather as much astral energy as they can and store it in their master cores. Whichever of them manages to accumulate the most power at the end of their contest is crowned the ruler of the Renin motherland. A new crown contest, as they call it, is held every decade or so.
So you see, the Master Cores are the receptacles in which the Lords store their power. And we Danans are sacrificed, so the Renins can choose their new ruler.
That's insane! You're telling me that's what our people have been dying for this whole time?
Relax, hero. You're not the only one who's bent out of shape about the whole thing.
Eventually, they learn what Shion is truly after. She wishes to take down each of the Renin lords of the 5 realms. This lines up perfectly with the Crimson Crow's goal to overthrow Balsa, so they agree to team up and fight together. However, we see that Shion is running out of time.
I've gotta hurry.
They travel until they reach Uzelbeck, where Zephyr meets up with some more Crimson Crows to discuss their next move. In town, Iron Mask is given a new outfit to replace his old tattered one, but Shion prefers the more luxurious Renin style, so she looks to acquire her own. So, they travel outside town to an old Renin castle. Along the way, the player encounters enemy Zeugles and now learns about boost attacks. During battle, a boost gauge will begin to fill, and when available, the player can summon an ally to enter and use this boost attack. Each character has their own unique boost attack. Here, we learn Iron Mask, Iron Blade, which is a powerful sword attack that downs enemies and creates openings. After, we learn Shion's Wing Clip, which fires a burst shot that downs flying enemies and temporarily restricts flight. They then fight many battles and some larger enemies that have unique weak spots to hit. Doing enough damage to the weak spot will result in a core break that temporarily downs the enemy, allowing for massive follow-up damage. After many battles, they reach the castle, which is sealed tight. Fortunately, Shion is granted access with a quick scan of her eyes. Inside, they explore, collect, and fight until finally reaching an old wardrobe. Shion gets a stylish new look that leaves Iron Mask speechless before they head back to Zephyr.
Listen, I get it. You care how you look. But we've got places to...
What is it?
No. Nothing.
Back in Uzelbeck, Zephyr goes over the plan with the Crimson Crows, as they all prepare for battle against Balseph and his forces. Here, the player is introduced to the basics of weapon crafting, which utilizes items found throughout the game to create new, more powerful versions. Ready for the fight, Iron Mask and Shion proceed to Glanamede Castle. They sneak their way inside, where Shion allows Iron Mask access to the Blazing Sword, which she has modified to prevent him from taking too much damage.
It's better to have it and be ready than to be caught in a fight without it.
Flames.
I took the liberty of cutting the flow of energy from the Master Core. I may be giving you the sword, but you still need me to unleash its power. Try not to forget that.
With the Blazing Sword, Iron Mask now receives a new perk in battle. At the sacrifice of some health, he can charge up a powerful flame attack to deal extra damage. Also unlocked is a one-hit finisher called Boost Strike, in which two allies will perform an intense cinematic team-up on a weakened enemy.
Do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Another perk of the Blazing Sword is the ability to exchange cure points for a way to get past a blocked wall of fire, usually containing rare treasure or secrets behind it. Glanamede Castle essentially serves as a dungeon, where the goal is to explore, collect, battle, and level up before encountering the boss at the end. Eventually, they reach Balsef's chamber, which they enter and do battle with the Lord inside.
Don't move, Balsef!
So the vermin scum you call kin stirred up enough trouble for you two rats to make it all the way to me, huh? What a pain in the ass. Although, it was pretty impressive of you to deliver it straight into my hands. The Master Core.
You really think we're here to hand it over?
Why, of course not. You see, I'll be taking it back no matter what you say. In any case, this is the end for you. You won't be getting out of here alive. The two of you were fools for coming here. Now die!
Balsef is an intense, multi-phased fight. He possesses many attacks that must be properly read and countered accordingly. If you mess up and die, Shion can revive you, or items can be used in battle to heal.
I'll bring you back from death's abyss. This one's mine. I never miss.
I owe you one.
With careful timing and strong follow-up attacks, Balsef can be downed, and after enough damage is done, a boost strike will trigger the next phase. With one mighty swing, Balsef breaks open the mask, triggering a memory. He then retreats to higher ground, where the astral energy he has been harvesting for the crown contest has manifested and has a will of its own.
Manifested astral energy. Not only that, it's alive!
Astral energy? From the spirit vessel? But wait, that was harvested for me! And that energy is supposed to be mine!
Now, Iron Mask and Shion battle Balsef again, but must avoid taking damage from the Fire Avatar at the same time.
Possess the blood of a Renin? Why then would you turn against your own kind? It's always been the way of the Renin for the strongest to survive! And yet, you have allied yourself with a filthy Danon! You traitor! Tell me why? Why bring ruin and devastation to your own kind? Snakes like you should die!
With enough damage, Balsef is defeated, and Iron Mask absorbs the Fire Avatar into the blazing sword before releasing it into the wall nearby. As Shion heals him, he reveals that he now recalls his true name, Alvin.
Iron Mask, your face is exposed.
name? My name is... Alvin!
Alphen then wakes up after having passed out for a week. Zephyr thanks Alphen as Calaglia is finally free.
Wakey wakey, sunshine. About time, too. When you blacked out, you were on your way to becoming a pile of ash. Shion's the reason you're still here.
Shion, you healed me?
In case you'd forgotten, we've still got 4 lords to defeat. You dying would have only slowed things down.
You have my gratitude. We couldn't have done it without you.
I just did what anyone would have done.
He and Shion now head out, where Alphen attempts to get closer to Shion, but she still has her guard up.
Why do you keep people at arm's length? You're always trying to wave it off whenever someone's nice to you.
Our interests just happen to overlap. I don't want people thinking I'm doing things to be nice when in reality they benefit both of us.
You've helped me too. Not just with my injuries, but by being there for me as well. Even though I can't feel pain, the injuries I get from using the blazing sword could probably kill me. That thought alone should be terrifying. But I know you'll always be there by my side, ready to heal me.
It's because of you that I can wield the blazing sword.
Don't just close in on me like that! If you get any closer, you're going to set off my thorns, you know.
I was just trying to compliment you.
With the wall destroyed, they can now proceed to the next realm. But first, they discuss the events at Glanamede Castle.
That monster that appeared from the spirit vessel, and the power inside the blazing sword, they're both born of the same thing. It's all astral energy harvested from the souls of dying Danans.
I suppose so.
By the way, what happened to all the energy that we released?
It's dispersing and spreading across Dana as we speak, finding its way back to where it belongs.
Before they finish their talk, a girl with an owl approaches before she passes out in front of them. Alphen and Shion acquire the necessary medicine, and it turns out the stranger is from Cyslodia, a neighboring realm. Her name is Rinwell, and she is a member of her own resistance group, the Silver Swords. Unfortunately, she is the only member of her group that made it to Calaglia.
Please, I swear it's true. My people are dying. I risked my life trying to get here so I could find help.
It's okay. You did well. We'll take it from here.
Hold on, Zephyr. You're not really thinking...
We'll join her. Alphen, start getting ready.
Shion volunteers herself and Alphen to join Rinwell, but Rinwell is reluctant to accept her help, finding it difficult to trust a Renin.
What is this?
Take it easy. It's complicated, but she's on our side. She helped to find some medicine for you.
She did? But no, she's a... I can't believe it.
She has no other options though, and they head off for Cislodia, along with Zephyr, who will be accompanying them as well. While traveling, they encounter flying Zeugles that they defeat. The Zeugles were attacking an owl that Shion healed. Despite having an owl of her own, Hootle, Rinwell is not appreciative of Shion's healing.
No one asked you to help.
Rinwell, she healed its wounds. She's not trying to hurt it.
How can you be so...
Shortly after, they encounter another owl. Spread throughout the lands are hidden owls that, when found, will reward cosmetic accessories to customize a character's appearance. Hootle will alert the party when an owl is nearby, and all must be found for a trophy. They travel through dark passages and secret tunnels while Rinwell tells them about Cislodia along the way. Cislodia is a dark and cold realm, filled with mistrust and betrayal.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Well, for starters, nobody trusts nobody.
Come again?
Just like I said, you never know when Snake Eyes are watching you. Their official title is the Bureau of Civil Observation. They've got cronies undercover everywhere, observing us at all times. Difference is, in Cislodia, it's not just Renins. They've got Danans spying on each other, too. All it takes is someone squealing on you, and it's straight to labor camp. No questions asked, no goodbyes. Course, informers are rewarded handsomely for their deceit. Everyone's always got one eye open, waiting for the moment to inform on someone before being tattled on first.
With this information in mind, they battle many Zeugles, and finally emerge on the outskirts of Cislodia, where Zephyr provides some advice to Alphen.
You have to remember, with those thorns of hers, she's probably not used to anybody being all that friendly to her. The fact that you can't feel pain means you probably end up getting closer to her than she's used to.
You really think so?
We're talking about someone who came down to Dana all by herself. But you don't see her homesick for Lenegis at all, do you?
No.
That alone speaks volumes about how difficult her whole situation must be.
Yeah.
It's your job as her partner to understand that, and give her the support she needs.
After, they fight many new Zeugle types until reaching the first small village. Shion and Rinwell argue, as Zephyr is the wise voice of reason once again.
The whole area is just little villages. This one's Messia 224.
Wait, I hear something. Sounds like people arguing.
Bureau agents. The Snake Eyes must be here. We should sneak past them. That was my original plan, since you all stick out so much.
Why? In case one of your people tattles on us?
It's the Renins who are making us do it.
Oh yeah? Like this Renin who you need to save your people's skin?
Oh, that's rich, coming from the Bright Eyes whose people are the reason we're in this mess in the first
enough.
place. But she started it!
3 centuries of resentment is too much to lay at a single person's feet. Same goes for you, Shion. You can't ignore the past when speaking of the present.
However, they are cut short when they hear commotion coming from nearby. The Bureau is arresting some locals, and the group decides to intervene, despite some initial reservations from Shion. They prepare for battle, but something is holding Zephyr back. He recognizes one of the agents, Law, and he won't fight. But Law doesn't return the sentiment, and he attacks. There is extreme tension and anger as Law hits Zephyr over and over again.
It won't work, you know.
You never change, do you? You've always got that damn knowing look on your face!
Zephyr!
I got it handled.
But he just...
He's my son.
Law builds up for a powerful strike, as he is prepared to kill Zephyr.
I'm gonna wipe that damn look off your face once and for all! Run in hell!
He goes in for the kill when he is stopped by an unseen blast, coming from none other than Rinwell, as she had been hiding her own abilities the whole time.
Zephyr!
Go. Leave without me.
You can't...
I'm not leaving without him.
Alphen, there's no time!
But what about the Resistance? Everyone's counting on you!
Forgive me.
As more agents arrive, Zephyr abandons the mission for Law and is captured while the others retreat. Safe outside of town, Shion confronts Rinwell about her use of astral arts, as no Danon should be capable of using them.
Are you a Renin?
Like hell I am!
No, of course not. Renin's eyes light up when they use astral arts. And when you used an art, your eyes definitely didn't. So I guess that means you can't be a so-called bright eyes after all.
Rinwell provides her explanation and details her family's secret history.
A long time ago, my family, my people, were once known as mages.
A Danon mage? Up until now, I'd only ever heard of them in stories and rumors. Though now I've seen one with my own eyes, I suppose I'll have to believe it.
We've been in hiding for a long, long time, even before the Renins first attacked. That's why no one knew about us.
Even before the Renins?
Yeah. My ancestors were persecuted and targeted for their gifts.
But it was by their fellow Danons.
They lived hidden away all these centuries, keeping their existence secret even from the Resistance. My mom and dad drilled it into me that I was never, under any circumstances, supposed to let anyone find out about us.
If that's the case, then why did you use your powers back there?
I don't know. One second I saw Zephyr about to be killed, and the next I was...
After explaining, Rinwell decides to help them save Zephyr, and will use her powers to do so. This unlocks Rinwell's perk, which is the ability to charge or save astral art attacks to increase their power. Also unlocked is her boost attack, Magic Cancel, which disrupts enemy astral art attacks. Rinwell tells them that Zephyr would most likely be in the capital, Cislodin, but they must travel through a dangerous forest to get there. So, they rest up at camp. This time, a new type of cutscene is presented. When available, Alphen can choose one party member to chat with before bed. This scene provides even more character development and expands on the individual relationship. After, Alphen will now be closer with the chosen party member. For trophies, each of the party members must reach the maximum friendship level by experiencing all fireside talks. Again, these can be skipped, but the extra details are worth listening to. In the morning, they make their way through the forest, exploring all areas, gathering items, and battling Zoogles until encountering the largest Zoogle yet.
Astral energy! Full throttle!
We've got company, and not the nice kind either.
Rinwell, get back!
And miss all the action? Who do you take me for?
This Ice Wolf is powerful and can tank many attacks. Eventually, they take it down and continue towards the capital.
Rinwell!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
As they continue, Alphen smells blood, and they spot many dead Zoogles on the ground. They see the culprit in the distance, a hooded, sword-wielding stranger, but he leaves before they can reach him. Shortly after, they reach a secret tunnel, and even find Rinwell's resistance group. It turns out that they all survived, and they head to their home base.
Rinwell. Hey, Rinwell!
What are you doing here? If the Snake Eyes spot you here, they'll...
So you did make it back alive. Man, am I glad to see you safe.
Barely. When we all got separated, I thought...
They're fine. They all got back in one piece.
Here, the leader of the Silver Swords, Menek, introduces himself. Like everyone else, he immediately doesn't trust Xion, but eventually relents as he needs her help.
If my eyes don't deceive me, you appear to have a Renin in your midst. If she is your prisoner, that's a rather loose leash you have her on.
She's not a prisoner.
So why do I get the feeling there's a rat about the house? No offense intended. See, I've grown comfortable with the likely outcome I'll be stabbed in the back. But stabbed in the front?
We risked our lives just to get here, sir. If you want to send her away, fine. But you'll lose me too.
I see. Trust is in about as short supply as light around these parts, and mine more than anyone's. But I'll choose to believe you.
He agrees to aid in rescuing Zephyr in exchange for some help later. Back outside, they spot the labor camp and light emitting from its tower. Xion wants to see where the light points to, which reveals her suspicion.
A spirit vessel. I thought as much. So they're pumping it full of light.
No, not light. Astral energy. Of course. No wonder this realm's so dark. It's as though there's a pall over the sky even during the day.
Except it isn't dark. Not really. The light's just being diverted.
Diverted?
Suck up all the light, and all that's left over is darkness.
In the distance, they spot Law as he looks troubled. They follow him and speak with him about rescuing Zephyr. Xion speaks the truth, and Law learns the hard way not to touch her.
I don't buy it. No. You're running because you're scared. You think you're the only one who's had to suffer?
What the hell do you know, you... What the... Damn you!
Word to the wise, people like you
Enough!
make me...
But Alphen interrupts, and lecture Jutsu's Law into telling them that Zephyr will be executed in the plaza. They return to Menek and tell him what they have learned. As they talk, the Snake Eyes attack, but Menek buys them time to escape through the underground waterway. This area involves more exploring, collecting, and battling, including a boss fight against a giant ooze hive. They eventually make their way to the plaza, where Lord Ganabelt is overseeing Zephyr's execution in a public spectacle.
Attention, citizens, subjects, and slaves of Cyslodia. I, Lord Ganabelt Valkyris, do formally open these proceedings. Behold! The brazen worm who would dare threaten the peace and order of our fair city.
Lord Ganabelt offers him the chance to rat out his allies in exchange for his life, but Zephyr refuses.
All my life I've had to fight, but I have known nothing but loss. I was so caught up in the struggle to survive in this world that I ended up neglecting my own family. I have lost so many good friends. I even lost my wife. My son. Not telling others how much they truly meant to me before it was too late. That is your answer. That's the greatest mistake of my life.
Therefore, Ganabelt orders the execution. But right before the sword comes down, Law arrives and saves his father. With perfect timing, Alphen's group shows up, just as Menek's does too. Unfortunately, their efforts are futile, as Menek reveals the truth and poisons Zephyr, dropping him to the ground.
You can drop the act. It's over.
All this time, it was really you?
Every second.
He is the true Lord Ganabelt, and he retreats, leaving soldiers and Zeugles in their way.
You stand before the Lord of Cyslodia, Ganabelt Valkyris.
In this battle, a new ability is unlocked, Mystic Arts, which is a high-powered, cinematic attack available during Over Limit.
Coming through! Ha! No! Scarlet Inferno!
No matter how many enemies they defeat, more continue to show up, so with Law's help, they must retreat and tend to Zephyr. Sadly, Shion's healing arts are too little, too late, and Zephyr succumbs to his wounds and dies.
I've always...
Dad. This can't be. No, it can't. We never. I didn't. And now he's gone.
Angry at both himself and Ganabelt, Law joins up with Alphen to take the Lord down. This unlocks Law's perk, which is an awakened state that increases both attack and elemental attack for a period of time. Also available is his boost attack, Breaker Fist, which breaks down heavily armored defenses.
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! Watch this! Demon Fang!
Get toasty!
Bird Strike!
Now, a party of 4, they fight their way into Ganabelt's castle. The castle is another dungeon area filled with puzzle solving, exploring, item collecting, and many battles to level up in preparation for the Lord fight. This time, the boss is Lord Ganabelt. He does the usual villain monologue, followed by Alphen's feisty retorts, and they do battle.
It's about time. I was beginning to worry you'd jump ship like the rats you are.
You're not so fortunate. We're here to end you. To liberate Cyslodia. To avenge Zephyr.
You talk big, but don't you think you're forgetting something? Of your precious resistance groups, whether the Silver Swords or any others, none have ever dealt a blow to Renan domination. In each and every realm, the story is the same. Until you. You, who wields the blazing sword of Calaglia, are different. I, Ganabelt Valkyris, Lord of Cyslodia, accept your challenge. Come and meet your death.
The fight is again a multi-phased fight, with Ganabelt protected by a barrier. An angry Law looking to avenge Zephyr bursts through it. However, Ganabelt has powerful attacks with huge areas of effect. Eventually, with enough damage, Ganabelt is subdued, but he has one last-ditch effort.
For the sake of Lenegus and my fellow brethren on Dana, I will not!
However, Law ensures this attempt is thwarted, and Ganabelt is defeated. With Ganabelt gone, Cyslodia is free, and light returns to the realm. Despite this, Alphen is focusing on the negative, so Shion slaps some sense into him.
Focus on the positive. Zephyr's dead, Shion.
And the Renans ruled this world unimpeded for 3 centuries. Did you think there wouldn't be any sacrifices?
So Zephyr's life just doesn't matter? He's dead, Shion. Our friend is dead. We're fighting this damn war to keep people alive!
Yeah, you're right. This is a war. Did you just realize that? Zephyr wasn't the first to die, and he sure won't be the last. If you can't handle that, Alphen, then you should run back to Calaglia. And when you do, just remember to leave the blazing sword here, in safer hands.
With 2 lords down and 3 to go, they discuss their next move, and Rinwell officially joins their mission.
I mean, yes, but it's just, now that everyone knows what I've been hiding, well, it might be best to get as far away as I can until it all quiets down. Is that okay? I promise I'll pull my own weight.
Sure. You're welcome to join us.
Back outside, Law does the same, and they move on.
I'm sick of losing everything I love. Of running from life. Maybe all that's left is to just turn around and face it. Count me in.
Along the way, Law confides in Alphen and admits his insecurities.
Of course, before long someone ratted us out. And we were ambushed by the Snake Eyes. I'd never seen such brutality. If I hadn't surrendered...
Law?
I don't know why. They let me live. They made me watch as they butchered my friends right in front of my eyes. I wonder if I'm any braver now. What if one day I panic again and end up running away like always?
And leave us behind? You really think you'd do that?
I hope not. But who's to say what I'm really capable of?
After much travel, exploration, and battling, they reach the next realm, Elda Menancia, a vibrant and bright land, lush with wildlife and beautiful scenery. They then make their way towards the capital city, the Sint, but must rescue a villager first. Doing so unlocks the use of his ranch, which allows the player to care for and raise livestock for use in cooking recipes. For a trophy, you must collect 50 harvests on the ranch, so be sure to tend to the farm every once in a while. Finally, they reach the capital, which is just as bright and beautiful as the rest of the realm. However, things are really strange here. Everyone is well dressed and happy, including the Danans. Not only that, but it looks as if they live in harmony with the Renans. Shortly after arrival, they learn that all of this is a result of Lord Dohalim, a kind ruler who is beloved by all.
But all of that changed once His Excellency Lord Dohalim assumed power 7 years ago.
Dohalim?
Under him, for the first time in our lives, we Danans were treated with the respect we deserve. Lord Dohalim is adored by Danans throughout the realm, and we serve him with gladness.
Still on edge about everything, they explore the city until they are greeted by one of Lord Dohalim's closest allies, Kisara of the Royal Guard. Kisara is a Danan, but is honored to serve Dohalim. She invites them to the Lord's palace, which they accept, but are still skeptical.
With us?
Indeed. He awaits you at Autolina Palace. That is, if you choose to accept. I am here only as a messenger, not a kidnapper. Your reply?
All right. We'll meet your lord.
A little while later, they arrive at the palace, which is as extravagant as expected. Inside, they speak with Dohalim, who looks to ease their doubts.
I'm Lord Dohalim Ilkaris.
If you know who we are, then you know how strange it is to invite us into your palace.
I thought I'd clear up your misconceptions before things could escalate. What do you say?
This doesn't work, as Shion attempts to attack, but strangely, he invites them to dinner after.
I commend you for your boldness, but it won't work on me. Still, your would-be assassination cannot go unpunished.
Alphen!
Fair enough. Allow me to host you for dinner. We shall continue our talk then. Kelzelik?
At dinner, they talk more, where Dohalim informs them he has no interest in the crown contest. But a flashback interrupts his thought and gives some insight into his past and why he despises the violence.
Stop this! Please! It's over! Stop!
He tells them he will not stop them from going after the other lords, but they should be on their way. So, they leave and rest up at the nearby inn, where Alphen and Law are feeling out of it and more tired than usual.
You don't think they slipped something into our food, do you? That must be it.
If they were making an attempt on our lives, we'd know it by now. Though, on the other hand, they could be warning us off.
Come to think of it, you didn't eat anything at the meal, Rinwell. Aren't you starving?
Oh, I made myself something later.
You missed out. That was some mighty fancy grub they served yesterday.
What? And give the enemy a chance to poison me too? Are you crazy?
What's the big deal? Shion ate it too, remember? And we both tried the same stuff.
Well, maybe they laced it with poison that's only harmful to Danins,
That's enough, Rinwell.
Just then, a cat interrupts, and they follow it outside.
There's something on its collar. Hold on a sec.
I think it's trying to lead us somewhere.
I'm gonna follow.
They continue to follow the cat through a forest filled with many enemy Zoogles. Deep within the forest, they encounter a giant enemy and must battle that as well. They then follow the cat once more, but along the way, Law uncovers they have been followed. The culprit is none other than Kisara, and they are forced to battle her. After a while, she is subdued, and Shion demands answers.
I wonder... We came here following a black cat. What reason could you have for tagging along? Certainly not as a spy.
You think she might have business with whoever called us out here?
Just who was it that led us out here? Answer me.
Are you serious?
Before Kisara can answer, the person who sent the cat reveals themselves as Kisara's brother, Miguel.
Well, maybe not all. Nice of you to drop by, Kisara. It's been a while.
You two know each other?
Hello, brother.
It turns out that Kisara and Miguel had a falling out, as Kisara accuses Miguel of attempting to assassinate Lord Dohalim, but Miguel claims this is a lie. He explains what truly happened and shows them something dark and disturbing.
Before Lord Dohalim came to power, this country was ruled by an oppressive regime. We lost both of our parents to it. And then Lord Dohalim came along. He abolished the oppression that kept us down, and the Danins were treated like people again.
If so, then why did you betray him?
You ever wondered what happens to living beings and other matter when they lose all their astral energy?
They just die, or so I thought.
If only. See for yourselves. Not metal, but to be honest, your guess is as good as mine. I believe it's... nothing. Matter with no physical form. Just a reminder of what was once there. They call it the hollowing. Once it consumes my whole body, that's it for me. I'm dead.
Kisara is devastated, but Miguel wants to expose the truth.
Take a look at this. It's called the Fruit of Helgen. When a Danin eats this fruit, their body enters a heightened state.
One that causes them to emit more astral energy than usual.
Hold on. Could this be the reason Alphen and Law were feeling out of sorts last night after we ate with Dohalim?
Sounds like you've been introduced to these things before.
He believes that Dohalim is unaware of the wrongdoings going on behind his back. Miguel and his group, the Gold Dust Cats, want their help to show the truth to Lord Dohalim, and they agree. Later that night, Alphen and Shion talk things over.
Back at the palace, Law said you took that hit because you were worried about me. What was it you were worried about?
That's kinda hard to explain. But more important than that, I guess I just couldn't let you die. Honestly, I think that's all there is to it.
The next morning, they all meet up outside the Razum Quarry, where Kisara and Lord Dohalim arrive. Here, Miguel pleads with Dohalim to follow him through the quarry, where a medical facility supposedly lies at the end.
Have you ever walked all the way through the quarry, my liege? Right to the other side?
Now that you mention it, I don't believe I have. It's a Danon medical facility of some kind, is it not?
I think you need to see for yourself, my lord. All I ask is that you witness this before you pass judgment upon me.
Then witness it I shall. Kisara? This man is your brother, correct? I would like to ask that you personally escort me while in there.
He agrees and joins the group. Now, Kisara is available in battle, and her perk replaces evading to guard with a shield. This boosts ally morale and attack power. Also unlocked is her boost attack, Fierce Guardian, which hits the enemy with a giant shield, downing them and boosting ally defenses.
I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
Together, they fight their way past many enemies as they venture through the quarry towards the medical facility. Finally, they reach the end, where the medical facility should be, but Miguel reveals the truth.
It's not here. In fact, it never even existed in the first place.
But I've seen people carried in here with my own eyes. Where could they have all gone?
The answer is right in front of you. You need but open your eyes. No. They're just what you see before you. What's left when matter ceases to be matter. Perhaps the scale is throwing you off. Let me show you what I'm getting at.
What?
No way. It can't be.
So then, this entire lake is...
Yes. All this is the hollowing.
You actually expect me to believe all that?
This is a fruit of Helgen. The cause of all of this.
Unfortunately, Miguel makes the tough decision to sacrifice his own life in order to open Dohalim's eyes to the betrayal from within his own ranks.
Here is your proof, my lord. Proof of the bounds of your knowledge. Proof of the countless Danon deaths under your watch. Someone close to you is behind all of this. This person is amassing huge amounts of astral energy. You have to stop them. You're the only one who can prevent Menancia from returning to the living hell that it was once before.
Miguel! Miguel! Miguel!
Forgive me, Kisara. I'm sorry. It was the only way I could open his eyes. Help our Lord Dohalim.
to make our greatest dream a reality.
Nicole? Nicole?
Kisara cries in anguish, which triggers more painful flashbacks within Dohalim. He can take these no more, and he breaks, lashing out and attacking everyone, including Kisara. The ensuing fight is intense and difficult, but with enough persistence, Dohalim is defeated. He clashes with Alphen and returns to normal, revealing why he snapped.
Truth be told, I never wanted this. I never wanted to be a lord. However, competing for a position in the crown contest was required of me, and in the process, I took the life of a dear friend. The life I took and the bloodshed, the hatred that it earned me. It was far more than I could ever bear. But the screams and tears of the slaves, they would reawaken my memories of that day.
So that's it? That's the real reason you freed the Danans? Just so you wouldn't have to listen to their screams?
Wait. So everything you've done...
Precisely. It was simply to distance myself from all the pain and death, all for my own selfish ends.
He was suppressing painful memories and not actually doing everything for the sake of others. With the truth revealed, Kisara is heartbroken and angry, but Alphen holds her back. Eventually, she relents and lets Dohalim go.
This man... This is the person my brother died for. And for what? For what? I need you to get out of my sight right now. Go, before I change my mind!
Later, they reconvene at the inn and discuss their next move, but are interrupted by news of chaos at the palace. Lord Dohalim has not returned, and Kelzelik has taken over the palace. They all agree to help Kisara and head out to Autolina Palace. But when they arrive, the entrance hall is empty. They proceed deeper, where the palace is another dungeon area, full of exploration, collecting, battling, and leveling up. After a while, they reach Kelzelik, who reveals his true intentions.
Well, well, if it isn't the slaves and the traitor. I don't remember giving you permission to enter the palace.
So it's true. You really are the one behind all this, Kelzelik.
If my master had any ambitions of becoming the sovereign, I would have gladly served him.
But he had no intention of fighting for the crown.
Indeed. Can you slaves even imagine how that looked to the rest of us? Enduring the whims of an ambitionless lord, all we could do was wait for the end as we suffered through our humiliation.
So you plotted against Lord Dohalim in secret. And when my brother found out...
And I would do it all again if it meant returning Menancia to its rightful state! A realm where Danans are slaves and Renans their masters. It's the natural order.
Enough!
He despised Dohalim and his Danon sympathy, wishing to overthrow him from the inside. Tired of talking, Kelzelik summons a giant Zoogle, and they must battle it. They do so without an issue, but Kelzelik is not done monologuing.
Your dreams of attaining lordship are no more. Give up, Kelzelik.
Attaining lordship? Ridiculous. Only those who possess a master core can become a lord. What, did you think just anyone could do it?
But then, what were you trying to accomplish with this?
However, there are other lords.
He even thinks he's capable of charging in and attacking them head-on, but he is stopped. Lord Dohalim returns and has destroyed all of the fruit production facilities. He knows that Kelzelik must have been working with someone from another realm, but he spares his life as Kelzelik scampers away.
May this be my final act as the Lord of Eldermen and Sia. Go to Mahag Sar, Ganeth Harros, wherever you think you'll find a suitable lord.
Kisara accepts this decision and is prepared to move on. The people of Eldermen and Sia rally around Dohalim, who decides that he must put an end to the crown contest once and for all.
Where are you going?
To put an end to the crown contest.
The crown contest impacts far more than just the Danons. You're choosing to fight Lenegis and the entire Empire.
I am well aware. However, if I wish to keep this dream from dying, then I have little choice in the matter. Besides, it's the least I can do.
So you're gonna go out there and make that dream real on your own?
You may be decided on your path, but that doesn't make it any less difficult.
Why not walk that road with us?
However, this is not something that he can do on his own, so he accepts Alphen's invitation to join the group. With Dohalim on the team, his perk is unlocked, which allows for attacks with greater range and interruption after a perfect dodge. Also available is his boost attack, which summons vines that restrict enemy movement. Despite her previous anger with Dohalim, Kisara rejoins the group and has forgiven him, prepared to see her brother's dream come true. Now, a team of 6, they make their way to the next realm, Mahag Sar. Along the way, Kisara teaches the team about fishing, because, as an RPG, of course it has fishing. For a trophy, you must catch one of every fish available, and there are many different fishing spots spread throughout the various lands to visit. After traveling and fighting more, they stop to rest and recover. Shortly after stopping, they are suddenly interrupted by the hooded stranger from earlier. He immediately attacks, and another intense battle begins. He is extremely fast, where even Dohalim is no match for him.
A wretch like you?
In the midst of battle, he lunges at Alphen, but Shion pushes him out of the way to take the hit. This causes Alphen to emit a burst of energy, and the stranger leaves. Fortunately, she is going to be okay, and only has minor damage, which she quickly heals. After, she talks with Alphen, which triggers another memory of his before they move on.
Look, I'm just glad that you're...
A little while later, they reach Niez, the capital of Mahag Saar, but it is in ruins and abandoned.
Are we in the right place? This place looks like a mess.
Yes, this is Niez, the capital of Mahag Saar.
I don't see any signs of people. And the buildings.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like the kind of place people would actually live.
They set off in search of any signs of life, and find just that. But those they do find are not very welcoming. At least not at first.
I'm Beifong, of the Darkwings. Sorry for threatening to blow you away. We're still hunting down the remnants of the enemy forces, so everyone's more than a bit on edge right now. Please forgive me.
The man explains that they have already taken the Lord's weapons and overthrown her rule. Deadheim is now the ruler of the realm, but they are warned of his hatred of Renans. They are taken to Deadheim, who is even more unwelcoming and unpleasant.
So you're Elfin, are ya? Thought you'd be bigger. Huh. Guess the armor beefs you up a bit. Gotta say, I didn't expect you to run with a gang of women and kids. Those other lords must have been real pushovers, huh?
So you're the one who took down the Lord of this realm, huh? How'd you pull that off?
We just swiped the Renan's explosives. And then we blasted them all to hell and back.
Explosives? That's a pretty bold approach. But how'd you manage to avoid hurting your own people?
I didn't, that's how. But the chance to take out a lord was worth the sacrifice. Unfortunately, we couldn't manage to finish her off. But now we've really got the girl on the run.
I wouldn't be so sure. She may run, but she'll never go quiet.
Shut up, Bright Eyes! I would have run you through already if you weren't with the blazing sword here.
The whole reason you're fighting is to free the Danans in this realm, is it not? If
Shut
so,
your
then...
mouth, witch! That's enough!
They're my friends.
Maybe it's because you and that little lady are friends and more.
Clearly, insecure and trying to prove he is top dog, he proceeds to insult Alphen and his group. They don't stand for his crap though, and leave. Back outside, Beifong apologizes and provides them with a helpful lead on the retreated Lord. He tells them of a rumor about Esteluva Forest. They rest at the inn in preparation. In the morning, they travel to the forest, which is a multi-floored, underground dungeon with many enemy encounters, but unfortunately, no sign of the missing Lord.
So much for finding the Lord. Come on, let's get back to Niez.
Shion, calm down. This isn't like you. What's wrong? Talk to me.
It's none of your concern.
After, Alphen checks on Shion, but she still has trouble letting anyone get close.
Are you serious? You helped me come to terms with Zephyr's death. You put your life on the line to save me. Don't tell me you did all that out of necessity. That it was only because we have a common goal. I know you care about the pain of others. You care, Shion. That's why I want to help.
Because of my thorns, I thought I had been doomed to a life of solitude. Until the day I died, I knew I would be alone.
And now?
The truth is, I'm trying to end my curse and get rid of my thorns.
Get rid of? There's a way to do that? Really?
I'm not completely sure. All I know is there's a chance. But that's the reason I need the Renis Alma.
It must be assembled from all 5 Master Cores.
That's why taking down the Lords is so important to you. But Shion, you're not in this alone. If there's a chance we can rid you of your thorns, I'll be by your side the whole way.
That includes us, right?
Like it or not, you're going to have to get used to relying on us every now and then.
What kind of friends would we be otherwise?
Thank you.
With no sign of the Lord, they return to Mahak Sar, where they meet up with Beifon again. He apologizes, as the rumor was a false lead from Deadheim to keep the group busy while he looked for the Lord himself. Amazingly, they were able to capture her, and she didn't even fight back. Beifon heads out of town while the group reaches Deadheim's public display of power.
Is that?
Yes. It's Lord Almadria Kynaris.
Please stop! No good can come of such hatred. Stop or there'll be no turning back.
Astral energy? Why now?
You don't think that...
The fruit of Helgen!
They quickly learn why it was so easy to capture the Lord Almadria, as she allowed them to, in order to seize their astral energy. As Almadria frees herself with ease, Rinwell steps forward, enraged.
I found you at last.
I swear it. I'll make you pay for what you did to my parents!
What do we have here? Could it really be the witch from Dana?
Hey, Rinwell!
Shut up! This is the only thing that's keeping me going anymore. Stay out of my way or I'll kill you!
Rinwell.
I'll kill you. I swear it. I will kill you!
Almadria is the one who killed her family, and she wants revenge. She is about to exact that revenge when for some inexcusable reason Law steps in and stops her.
What did you... Why are you defending her? What about you? Are you not the one who got revenge for his father? Don't I deserve that as much as you? Move aside. If you don't, then I'll blast you again.
No way. I can't let you kill her. Not while your face is full of the same hatred as those people who died.
He gives some BS reasons, but he was able to get revenge for his father, but won't let Rinwell, even though their goal is to defeat the Lords anyway?
Why did you... Why you lost?
Is your little show quite finished?
They proceed to battle her Zoogle bodyguard, as Almadria retreats. They defeat it, but everyone is dead. That is, except Bayfon, who is luckily out of town. They decide to pursue her, but Rinwell is unsure of what to do, as she can't let her hatred go.
I saw what hatred did to those people, but hating her is the only thing that's kept me going. I can't just stop hating her. What am I supposed to do? Tell me. Smile at her from across the battlefield? Apologize while we fight her? I don't know if I can do that.
Nobody can understand what you've been through. We can't even begin to imagine the pain you've experienced. But if hate is what has kept you going ever since that day, then let it be your strength. However, think about this. When you've had your revenge, when we've beaten Almadria, then what will you do?
Huh?
I'm saying you're going to have to find a way to survive once that hatred is gone. When it is, what do you plan on doing then?
They really toe the line between vengeance and justice, and really shouldn't be so hard on Rinwell.
Almadria's death doesn't have to be your end too. You need a reason to live, Rinwell, not an excuse to die. Understand?
Surprisingly, Shion is more reasonable than the others, and helps Rinwell clear her mind. Rinwell is now ready to stay with them, but is still upset with Law. In pursuit of Almadria, they head to the docks, but she has already set sail. So, they catch a ride on a nearby ship and follow after her. On board, Alphen talks things over with his teammates as they traverse the seas.
I should apologize to all of you, really.
Us too?
Well, I was kinda lying to you all this whole time. I was blind to everything except my own revenge. I never even considered the struggles all of you might be facing.
We all have things we'd prefer to keep to ourselves, Rinwell. So what if you had something to hide? It doesn't undo the good that you've done, or the people that you've helped save along the way.
With the cover of fog, they were able to sneak up on and board Almadria's ship. Her ship is another dungeon-type area as they battle, explore, and fight to level up before reaching the top deck where Almadria waits. Almadria monologues and attempts to incite rage within Rinwell.
I was getting rather tired of waiting around. Oh my, and I see you came along as well, Danon Witch.
Almadria.
What's this? I thought you couldn't stand the sight of me. Go on, little one. Show me the full force of that hatred of yours. Otherwise, run and hide like a rat you are.
That's enough! How can you smile while causing pain to so many others?
After, they do battle as she rides her giant flying Zoogle. This was an intense and difficult battle, as the aerial opponent was difficult to ground and hit with consistent attacks. After much persistence, having to leave to power up, and trying again, Almadria is finally defeated. As she lies on the ground finished, Rinwell stands over her, still filled with hatred, but she has come to terms with her feelings.
You murdered my mother and father. But I'm not like you.
Rinwell.
Even now, I hate you. But here I am, unable to let go. Honestly, even if I took my hatred out on you here and now, it wouldn't make me feel any better in the long run. I realize that now. So, I won't kill you.
As Almadria refuses to accept defeat, a burst from the water announces the arrival of the hooded stranger once again. Almadria calls out to him, Lord Volron. But he immediately stabs her through the chest, killing her. He then clashes with Alphen, who reacts in anger, releasing a burst of light from within and destroying what remained of his mask.
Think you can cut me down? What?
This triggers more hidden memories as Shion rushes to his side.
Wait, what just happened to him? Alvin! Say something!
Volron lunges forward, knocking Alphen to the ground. He then grabs Shion, seemingly unaffected by her thorns, and cuts a rip in the ocean. Alphen makes a break for it and reaches out for Shion. He grabs her hand, but screams in pain and lets go, as his resistance to pain is no more. Volron leaves with Shion as the ship drops into the open void.
Come and find me, if you truly are the Sovereign.
The player then controls Alphen as he experiences a flashback on board the Renan mothership, Lenegis. He runs around looking to get back home to Dana. We then see a strange ritual in which Alphen stands across from a Shion lookalike, Naori. His memories then turn dark as his hands are covered in blood, and Naori is injured in front of him. She places the helmet on Alphen, and he awakes in the present time. Confused, he lies on a beach in an unknown realm. Injured and in pain, he hobbles around looking for a familiar face. The blazing sword is gone, and when he encounters enemies, he is extremely weak and defenseless. After several long and very tedious fights against weak enemies, Rinwell and Dohalim find Alphen. With the exception of Shion, the entire team is waiting in a village nearby. It turns out they are in Lord Volron's home realm of Ganeth Haros. They travel to the village where everyone gathers together, and Alphen tells them everything he now remembers.
I was abducted from Dano. I was told if I ever wanted to return home, I'd have to cooperate. So that's what I did. Next thing I knew, they had made me into the Sovereign. They kept me locked in a strange facility. They experimented on me, like I was nothing more than an animal. There were others, but only I survived. The only reason I survived was because my body was able to withstand the Sovereign's power that they placed inside me.
It all makes sense now. Your affinity with the blazing sword, and the strange powers you possess, they were all because you were the Sovereign.
They said it was for something called the spirit channeling ceremony. They taught me how to harness my power for when the big day came. I was wrong. It wasn't Shion I knew from Lenegis. It was Naori. She was a Renan maiden they paired me with during the spirit channeling ceremony. She's the woman I kept seeing in my dreams. Naori's family name was Imeris. She's the one who put the mask on me. To keep my soul from devouring itself over the guilt. After what I did on Lenegis. Over the lives I took. I lost consciousness halfway through. By the time I came to, Lenegis was a sea of flames. I opened my eyes to see Naori there, weeping. I shudder to think of how many deaths I caused that day. Certainly more than any of these lords can claim, I'm sure.
In ancient scripture, there is tell of a terrible calamity that befell Lenegis, nearly destroying it. More than 300 years ago.
300? But that'd make Alphen...
That's right. I'm pretty much an antique of a human being. So much for standing up to injustice. I've probably got more blood on my hands than all the lords combined!
Alphen, stop!
The usually upbeat and positive Alphen is destroyed by his memories. Even though he doesn't fully understand them, he is downtrodden and almost forgetting about Shion, which is so out of character for him. After telling his story, the group disbands temporarily until Alphen is mentally ready to rescue Shion. Hopefully it's not too late by the time he comes around. Alphen then explores the village and speaks to the party members individually. While the others are patient, Law talks some harsh truth and snaps Alphen out of his rut.
What's gotten into you, man? Aren't you worried about her?
Do I even have any right to be?
If you were in my place, you'd say, to hell with all that. What do you want to do?
Sounds like me. Pretending I have all the answers is kind of my forte.
What happened to the guy who talked to me after my dad died? The one who cared enough to reach out and save me. That's the guy I was proud to follow. Not this faltering imposter who's taken his place.
Law.
No, I'm serious. What's gotten into you, man? Just give me the word and I'll beat some sense into you if that's what it takes. Now, I'm gonna ask you this once and only once. Are you serious about rescuing Shion or not? What's it gonna be, Alphen?
What do you think? Of course
course I want to rescue her. Hell, I'd do it right now if I could.
So then quit griping and do it already!
More his old self, Alphen gives a motivational speech to the team before they head out. After many long and frustrating battles, man, it really sucks to fight without Shion and the Blazing Sword. They reach Volron's fortress. Guards are awaiting their arrival, and let them walk right in. The city is a strange and desolate place. There are no people anywhere, except those that ride in boats in circles, chanting glory to Volron. They look around more and become distraught when they realize the people are brainwashed, merely serving as astral energy for Lord Volron. With renewed anger, they storm the castle. Inside, they immediately find Shion, but she is in some kind of trance. As Alphen steps toward her, she retreats, sending a massive amount of thorns everywhere.
Lies.
They must battle these thorns, but they seem to never end. Despite the attacks and pain, Alphen walks towards Shion.
You're wrong.
Alphen!
She thinks we left her all alone. She can't see us or hear us. All of this, it's because I pulled away from you. Because I couldn't hold on to you. Shion. But you're not alone anymore. Law's here. And Rinwell too. Kisara. And Dohaling. And so am I. Believe me when I say, you are not alone. So please, don't give up on us. We will bear your thorns together. I swear it.
Miraculously, he is able to break her free, and she snaps out of her trance. With the team reunited and back to full power, they fight through the massive, maze-like dungeon area that is the castle. They encounter many powerful enemies along the way as they attempt to find Volron. They carry on and eventually reach Volron's chamber. Cocky as always, Volron sits on his throne, ready for battle.
We've come for you, Volron!
Did you really come all this way, just so I could take you back over his dead body?
Bastard!
Despite his confidence, Volron is struck down, but unfortunately, this isn't even his final form, and the fight is not over yet.
You think this is over? What?
Who do you think you are?
Now outside, they learn that Volron is the Sovereign, and the crown contest is just a ruse. The fight continues, and Volron is more powerful and dangerous than ever before. The fight is intensely difficult and requires much more precise evading and attack timing. After a long battle, he and Alphen clash one last time.
What do you think you can do?
This guy's still standing?
Rogue! Everything rightfully belongs to me! Rules over and crushes those who fall in his pit! Are next!
This time, with the blazing sword in hand, Alphen emerges victorious. Volron is defeated, and they now possess all of the Master Cores. With them, they attempt to forge the Renis Alma to remove Shion's thorns. However, something isn't right as nothing happens. Suddenly, a strange woman appears behind Alphen, looking like a black-eyed child from Ancient Aliens.
Shion, are you the maiden?
What is this? Why is this happening?
The strange woman absorbs the energy of the Master Cores into her Dark Master Core, which forms the true Renis Alma. Alphen tries to stop her, but it is no use, and she disappears.
What do you think you're doing?
A month later, the group remains stationed at Ganeth Harros as they try to make sense of everything that has happened. Alphen talks to Shion, who is still acting strange and distant, at least more than normal.
Besides, we don't know that the Renis Alma actually was destroyed. For all we know, it might have disappeared with that red woman.
If so, then why are you...
It's okay. You brought me back. You got me away from Volron. That's enough for now.
Later, the team regroups and discusses their next plan, as there has been no sign of Volron's body or the Red Woman. For some reason here, the game slowed down to a crawl. After the crazy revelation, the first thing you want to do was find out more, but the game then just had Alphen run around in meaningless side quest-like missions for what felt like forever. Finally, after way too long, something strange begins to happen. A large structure emerges from the sea as Lenegis is transforming.
What's happening to Rena and Lenegis?
It looks like Lenegis is transforming? But into what? What's going on?
It's as if they're driving a literal wedge into Dana.
Not just into Dana, but her own resistance too. And what's with that beam of light coming down from above? Got any idea what that could be?
Astral energy.
Are you serious? All of that is astral energy? But that...
It's a lot for sure. Not even all the astral energy harvested by every lord combined compares to that column.
They're trying to squeeze every last bit of energy out of the planet.
They decide to go straight to the wedge and request the sea captain's help to reach it by boat. They arrive, but Rinwell senses that something isn't right.
When I was reaching out to the astral energy, I thought I heard a voice.
A voice?
Yeah. I couldn't make out any words, but it sounded like it wanted me to come to it.
Inside the wedge is another intricate dungeon-like area filled with Zeugles. They fight on until reaching a point where all the astral energy concentrates and flows through.
All the energy flowing through the wedge comes together and collects here.
Is that thing a Zeugle? Holy crap, it's huge!
A central core and a guardian?
Once we beat that thing, it'll stop the wedge from taking in any more astral energy, right?
They take on and defeat a giant Zeugle in this chamber. Defeating it releases a huge amount of astral energy into the air. Rinwell is drawn towards the energy and steps into it. Everyone else follows in fear for her, but come out of the experience in tears.
Rinwell, you okay?
Hey, are you crying?
I'm not the only one.
They are unsure of what just happened, but Shion believes it may be the will of Dana, its collective voice. They head back to the ship, where they see the beam of light emitting from the wedge has now stopped. Left with nowhere else to go, Alphen suggests they find a way to reach Lenegis. This is the only way to stop the wedge completely and save Dana from losing all of its astral energy. Rinwell asks the obvious question of how exactly they're going to get there. Fortunately, Kisara thinks of the perfect solution. With no other means of acquiring a starship, they head off for Alphen's old ship. As they sail back to the mainland, Rinwell senses something is wrong with Shion, and she opens up to her, showing just how much their relationship has grown since their initial hostility.
I think I'm just a little seasick, that's all.
Liar.
Huh?
You heard me. You've never been good at hiding your emotions, Shion.
Excuse me? Just what do you... No. You're right. I'm sorry.
Something you can't talk about?
Rinwell, I'm not like the rest of you.
Of course you are! No, I'm serious. Back when we first met, I think maybe then I did think we were different. But now I know that isn't true. You and I are the same, Shion. We're alike in more ways than you know. If any of us is different, it's me. I'm a Danon who can use magic. I may be the last. My family and I have been living in hiding as long as I can remember.
Everyone has their own pain that can be hard for other people to understand.
Unsure of where his old ship may be, Alphen returns to Calaglia and asks Nath for some help.
I read through all of the records, but I only found a single line that might point to what we're looking for. It mentions a rock that shot across the sky and landed past the mountains. The event was recorded just before the first Renan invasion.
And you think that might be the starship?
I don't know. There was nothing else in the records that came even close.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest volcanoes in Calaglia. I was just there recently, investigating a report of a meteor someone saw.
This sends them towards a giant Zoogle that just might be blocking the path forward. To reach it, they must travel through Berg Volcano and battle the usual array of Zoogles. After a while, they encounter the giant beast that Nath spoke of earlier. Alphen is able to knock it back and clear the path. On the other side of the volcano, they find exactly what they had hoped for. Not only is Alphen's old ship there, but it appears to be in working order. Later that night, Shion sneaks off from the group and is confronted by Alphen.
Shion. Shion! It's your thorns? But why? You okay? Just now, it looked like you used your maiden powers to suppress your thorns. You can really do that?
She turns on him and threatens him to back down, but when everyone else arrives, she is forced to come clean and admit what had been on her mind lately.
Wait a second. Are you planning to go alone?
Shut up!
Why would you do this?
I told you to shut up!
I refuse to let you.
I won't tell you again. Move or I'll shoot.
If that's the case, then go ahead and shoot me!
Do you remember back when I was stabbed? By Volron?
Yeah. I thought for sure that he had killed you back there.
That wasn't the first time.
Huh?
The first time was when I was only a child. After that, no matter how often, I just couldn't die.
I believe you, Shion. But tell me how is something like that possible?
My thorns. They're me, but at the same time not. They're part of me. I have no idea why, but my thorns will never let me die. At least not before I'm meant to.
You can't die before your death?
When my thorns free themselves, it will be my death. I want to believe it's all just a bad dream. But no matter what I tell myself, I know it's not.
That's why you turned your back on your fellow Renans and chose to fight with us, isn't it?
while we've all been fighting to keep on living. You have been with us fighting desperately to die.
That was the plan. But then I met all of you. And before I knew it, I didn't want to die anymore. I wish we had never met! Then I wouldn't have to feel this way!
Xion!
Alvin!
Living for the sake of dying is no better than being a slave! How can you endure this? It's not fair. I don't care what anybody says. I won't let it happen! We can fight this! We'll fight until the end together.
Everyone is prepared to do anything and everything to ensure that Xion is saved, and with this, they head for Lenegis.
Even if I have to do it alone.
No, you won't be alone. I'll fight as well.
Count me in as well. I want to be a force for good, not hate.
And me too. I meant it with all of my heart when I told you before. Neither of you are alone in this at all.
You guys. And I, for one, don't believe this venture is without hope.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that! You're going to jinx us!
As they prepare to land, Dohalim suggests they start with the Forbidden Zone, an area that only sovereigns can access. Unsure if Alphen will be granted access, they decide this is the best place to look for answers. On the surface, Lenegis is in disarray. The transformation has rocked everyone and everything. Right away, Dohalim is greeted by an old friend, Avakir. They catch up, and Avakir tells him that the people of Lenegis are in the dark about what is happening and awaiting word from the Sovereign.
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what? I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this.
They then search for the Forbidden Zone, speaking to several Renans along the way.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
They then question the crown contest and Sovereign further, as Dohalim realizes there were many strange things he overlooked.
There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Xion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
As they move on, Dohalim is confronted by another old friend, Faria, although she is far less happy to see him than Avakir.
But why are you here? Wait, don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit.
As they walk away, and Faria continues to yell at Dohalim, the Red Woman appears behind her, with no one else aware of her presence. With much on his mind after seeing Faria, Dohalim tells the full story of how he fought an old friend to become Lord.
And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagan and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnagan had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent. Tarnagan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less, she would have been devastated.
Finally, they are able to locate the entrance to the Forbidden Zone. But this triggers another flashback.
Alphen.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden.
I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for, let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home.
So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imaris. Try to remember this time.
This time, everyone experiences the flashback, and a surge of astral energy as well.
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Danon astral energy rushing over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same sensation as back inside the wedge.
They are interrupted when Faria enters the chamber. She doesn't look right and is unresponsive. She summons a giant Zoogle, and they are forced into battle. They take it down, but Faria is preparing for another summons. Quickly, Dohalim subdues her and interrupts the summoning. Avakir then shows up as he was following Dohalim, and he takes Faria to safety. They then travel deeper in the Forbidden Zone when they experience another vision, this time of the channeling ceremony and what went wrong 300 years ago.
What? There's so much astral energy. But where's it all coming from? It's almost like it's alive.
They realize that the destructive energy they felt in the vision is the same as Shion's thorns.
What the hell was that? It felt like everything was on the brink of... like the whole world was seconds from...
Oblivion. It's the same vision as the one my thorns show me. A vision of impenetrable darkness that swallows up us and everything else.
So, everything we just saw, those were Naori's memories, right?
That's right. It was as if her innermost thoughts were speaking directly to us. At least I know they weren't mine.
That power flowing into her, it reminds me of Shion's thorns. If they're what's responsible for all these visions she's been having, then maybe...
Maybe my thorns are made from that same astral energy?
Even deeper, they come across some old records that Dohalim looks through. In them, he finds information regarding Alphen and Volron.
A composite being capable of controlling Danan astral energy so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure, taking the form of a Danan. Codename Sovereign. With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too. In other words, it may be that all Renans are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme. It's a list of names, with the title Test Subjects, Sovereign. There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait, I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Alphen.
They re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Volron. He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that none of them were ever crowned sovereign after all?
But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest. It's all lies, including the part about the sovereign residing in Rena.
With all this new information, they move on, but experience yet another vision, this time showing the origins of Alphen's mask.
I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dana. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Rena never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
After, they find the chamber for the channeling ceremony that they saw in an earlier vision. This time, they experience a different type of vision. This speaks directly to them from Naori.
It's been a year since the ceremony. That day, I shut away inside of myself the power that caused Alphen to lose control. Since then, my visions of the future have grown more and more fearsome. All in the name of a ceremony, the purpose of which we were never even told. The Renis Alma was intended to control his power, lest anything should slip through its cracks. That day, as Maiden, my role was to temper his power. I was meant to guide it forth, and give shape to the strength inside of him. But that power showed me a vision. A vision of oblivion. When I realized that vision was a prophecy of the apocalypse we were about to unleash, I couldn't go through with it. But without a maiden, the ceremony was doomed. Alphen lashed out, his consciousness no longer his own. My only choice was to seal away the destructive force inside of me using my powers as the maiden, to buy the world what little time I could. The time needed for a new Renis Alma to be crafted, and for a new sovereign to appear. Even if by doing so, it meant I would be passing the curse onto my descendants as well. Please, forgive me.
After, Alphen and Xion are gifted new clothes that enhance the Sovereign and Maiden abilities. With Naori's insight, they now devise a plan to rid Xion of her thorns.
I know it's too early to let myself feel relieved, but I just can't seem to help it. Just hearing there's the slightest chance, even though I know the world's still in great peril. It's selfish of me, I know, but still.
No, it isn't. You found hope to believe in. It'd be strange if you weren't over the moon about it.
Rinwell's right. We can rid you of your curse and still save the world at the same time.
After more exploring, they come across a large door. Behind it, they believe lies not only the Red Woman, but the Renis Alma as well. With his sovereign powers, Alphen opens the door. However, inside they discover Volron instead, as he is still alive, although he is tied up. In front of him is the Renis Alma. They realize that they have stumbled upon another channeling ceremony, with Volron as the Sovereign, and the chamber itself serving as the Maiden. As they talk things over, they are confronted not by the Red Woman, but by many that all look identical.
They all have the same face? How is that even possible? What is this?
Who the hell are they?
It can't be. Are they even people?
They transform into armored beings and attack. These present a tough battle, but with enough determination, they can be brought down. Just when the enemy looked defeated, it self-destructs, rocking the chamber. Alphen gets up and attempts to grab the Renis Alma. Unfortunately, Volron snaps out of his ritualistic trance and is easily able to break from his restraints and confronts Alphen.
Did you really think that such a petty device could hold me?
We already know the title of Sovereign doesn't denote royalty. It is but an overblown codename for those with a designated part to play in these proceedings.
Then you mean Voron was kidnapped just like Alphen? But then he became a
slave from Dana. I will stand above all others and take what is rightfully mine, starting with this.
Volron is about to use the Renis Alma when yet another Red Woman stops him. She blasts him and takes the Renis Alma for herself. The chamber itself begins to explode and crumble, trapping Volron within the rubble. They must make a run for the exit, but not before a death-defying leap of faith. Back on the ship, they decide they must prepare for Rena. However, before they can do anything, many iterations of the Red Woman appear outside the ship. They teleport the ship to unknown coordinates, and Dohalim no longer has any control. Outside, they see Rena as it fires a beam through Lenegis and into Dana. It then bounces straight back to Rena, resulting in what looks like a great blue flower. Unsure of where they are or what lies ahead, they head out for more answers. As they venture, they come across an armored figure similar to the ones they battled previously. This one, however, speaks and calls itself Hevrek 35.
What are you?
Hevrek 35.
What is this place? No, wait, before that, just what exactly are you? Are you somehow associated with the Red Women?
They have many questions, and Hevrek provides the much-needed answers.
I shall now answer your questions. We are Helganquil. The Red Women you encountered previously are a form of disguise we employ from time to time, but not our true form. You are on Dake Phasol, a celestial base which drifted here by accident. The will of Rena's great spirit no longer reaches us here.
It explains that the Red Women they have been experiencing are its people, the Helganquil. The Helganquil serve the Great Spirit, but deep in space, Hevrek is outside its influence. Hevrek then details the Great Spirit and its desire for all astral energy.
Correct. The Great Astral Spirit is a large mass of astral energy that fills all of Rena, one with its own will, a voice we cannot refuse.
Does that mean it was controlling your minds? Wait a second. Could this Great Spirit be the true sovereign of Rena?
The true ruler of Rena. It could be the same thing that's controlling Volron.
Wait, back up. You're telling us this great spirit of yours is the one that ordered you things to harvest the astral energy from Dana?
The Great Spirit's desire is to consume all astral energy. And the pursuit of that desire is why you see Rena in its current state. As a result, it has turned its attention toward Dana.
Is that why the crown contest is necessary? So that the Great Spirit can feed off of Dana?
Indeed. And it was to that end that we Helganquil devised the crown contest. Had the initial spirit channeling from 300 years ago succeeded, all of Dana's astral energy would have been seized.
So that was the real purpose behind the crown contest. An efficient means to harvest the necessary energy from Dana.
After more explanations, Hevrek reveals the real reason it brought them here.
I wish for you all to slay the Great Spirit.
It advises them to explore the station before deciding. They do so, and speak with some Renans nearby, discovering some earth-shattering things.
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Rena, obviously.
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Excuse me?
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by the Helganquil.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
There aren't, but there are Helganquil. That's what the name literally means in their language, people of Rena.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of extinction, yes? In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Danans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
They then discuss things together and realize that Shion's thorns and the Great Spirit are one and the same, and they are determined to rid her of them and defeat the Great Spirit. After talking things over, they return to Hevrecht and agree to take on the Great Spirit, but it will be on their terms. Hevrecht believes the best and only logical solution is to seal all the Great Spirit within the Maiden and have the Sovereign destroy it. Unwilling to sacrifice Shion, Dohalim comes up with an alternate plan that Hevrecht reluctantly agrees to.
Wait. Naori said that the Renis Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns could be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
A little while later, everyone talks and prepares for what could be their final battle.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people. Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the blazing sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh? You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything
Listen,
that we...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world, Renans and Danans alike. I promise you I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shion. I'm going to fight this until the very end.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because
Shion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Finally, they land on Rena. The planet is dark and desolate, empty and filled with hollowing as far as the eye can see. Rena is the largest and most dangerous dungeon area yet. Enemies are everywhere, and there are many different chambers and paths to take. Fast travel locations can be sporadically unlocked, but be prepared, especially before the final encounter with many healing items in inventory. After a long and hard-fought journey, they reach the final battle. Here, the Great Spirit manifests its energy and hatred into a giant beast. They handle this with ease, and it retreats through a void. With no other option, they follow and jump into the abyss. On the other side, they don't see the Great Spirit, but instead, many powerful Zeugles spawn. They take these out and catch up to the Great Spirit. It attempts to absorb more energy, but must stop to fight. This time, the fight is multi-phased, with each part ending with a new unique boost strike.
You with me! From here on out!
No more dithering! Our future begins here!
You and me!
This is it!
This ends now!
The Great Spirit is defeated, and they obtain the Renis Alma. Alphen and Shion quickly begin the channeling ceremony, but are interrupted as somehow Lord Volron is still alive. Shion begins to absorb the Great Spirit as Volron holds the Renis Alma. Volron doesn't care what happens to Shion, only that the Great Spirit is destroyed. He really could have just let them do their thing here, and it would have been defeated, but I guess his ego and desire to one-up Alphen was too much for him to just sit back. Anyway, he and Alphen battle one last time to determine who truly is the stronger sovereign.
Last obstacle impeding my progress! Die! That's my line! I'll show you the limits of your solitude!
No surprise here, as Alphen comes out on top. However, he chooses to forgive Volron and not kill him. Volron then destroys the Renis Alma, killing himself and any hopes of saving Xion along with it. I really have a problem with Alphen's decision here. I understand that they are trying to create a new world and don't want to build it upon hate, but Volron is different. Alphen had no issues stabbing him in an earlier battle, and defeating him now is not out of hatred, but out of necessity. By allowing him to live, he essentially chose Volron's life over Xion's, and after everything they've gone through, that is the wrong choice. That's why I love the Man of Steel movie so much. Superman doesn't want to kill, but Zod will not relent and will not change. So rather than repeat the endless cycle, he does what he has to. Anyway, Alphen returns to Xion and tells her the bad news. She reminds him of their promise, but he can't do it. Desperate, he calls out to the wills of Dana and Rena. Similar to Goku's Spirit Bomb, he collects astral energy from everyone in the various realms and uses the blazing sword to attack the Great Spirit within Xion. Lucky for Alphen, this works. Xion's thorns are gone, they embrace and kiss. Back on Dana, everyone gets together and looks up into the sky, hopeful for a new world, and the game ends. Overall, Tales of Arise was a wonderful RPG with deep and unique characters and an emotional and epic story. As an RPG, the game is a long journey, and seeing the character growth and development over the course of 100 hours was a great experience. There are hours upon hours of cutscenes and dialogue that enhance the adventure and immerse the player to where you truly connect to the characters yourself and feel like you know them inside and out. The gameplay offered a wide variety of customization and personal preference, both cosmetically and in gameplay. You could choose which party member you control in the overworld and in battle. During battle, you could seamlessly switch to a different character as desired. Personally, I stuck with Alphen for most of the game, as I have a more in-your-face combat style as opposed to range or support. In addition, you could choose not only which party member were in active battle or support, but you can decide which moves each character has available and what type of style they will favor. Cosmetically, there was a wide variety of outfits and weapon skins for that personal touch. I went with the ear and sunglasses theme for my team the first time through. Customizable and upgradable accessories provide even more depth and possibilities when determining the best build and strategy for your team. There were a wide variety of moves to choose from, but unfortunately, the battles became very busy with so many moves constantly being called out and speaking over each other. It was a bit much at times, as you can hear in this example. Even Rinwell gets tired of calling out her own spells.
I'm on it.
Otherwise, I didn't find the battles tedious or repetitive, even though several dungeons had a seemingly never-ending amount of enemies to defeat. This is because if you got tired of a particular style, you could easily change out your attacks or play as a different character for a completely fresh experience. After completing the game, you will have obtained all story-related trophies. There is no difficulty-related trophy, so a single playthrough is all that is required, and easy can be chosen if you are struggling with any particular encounters. However, this Platinum Trophy is a long journey, so if you are struggling, it is best to take some time away from the main story and level up, explore, complete side missions, and upgrade your gear, as all of these things will need to be accomplished at some point anyway, so rushing through the story doesn't really serve any benefit, at least if the Platinum is your goal. Take your time and explore every inch of the various realms. There is a ton to do and see. For trophy purposes, you need to view 300 skits that appear over the course of the game, reach maximum friendship level through fireside chats with each team member. There is about an hour cooldown before another becomes available. Catch one of every fish type. Acquire 30 different food recipes. Learn 400 skills. Obtain 20 artifacts. Forge 100 types of weapons. Craft 30 accessories. Spend 400,000 gold, which is no issue when crafting the more powerful weapons, as they are expensive. Collect 50 ranch harvests. And find all owls. As you progress and attempt to do everything the game has to offer, most, if not all of these, will occur naturally. The artifacts are one of the most useful, especially for endgame activities, as these reward permanent buffs, such as increased XP gained. Also required for the Platinum is to complete 70 subquest side missions. These vary in difficulty, but are often miscellaneous tasks such as acquiring items, clearing Zoogles, or defeating giant Zoogles. For another trophy, you need to defeat 20 giant Zoogles, which will be earned mostly from just completing the related subquest. However, there are 2 subquests in particular that are the most difficult and essentially serve as endgame content. These have their own trophy associated with them. One is a series of 6 dungeons that increase in difficulty. These contain many powerful Zoogles, and at the end of each fight is a boss. There are even some fun Easter egg locations and bosses from previous Tales games here. The other subquest requires you to defeat each of the 5 lords back to back without a break. These are extremely high level, so this should be one of the last things you do. In addition, Tales of Arise does have some combat-related trophies. These are not too bad, such as dealing 10,000 damage with a single hit, performing 100 counter edges, getting a 100-hit combo, encountering 120 different Zoogles, and to clear the ultimate level group training ground. The training ground can be found in Elda Menancia and has increasing tiers of difficulty training that can be fought solo as each individual character or as a team. The only thing left to do, and this may take the longest, is to reach level 100. If, after completing everything there is to do, and you are still not at 100, I would just replay the boss fight against Kronos in the final dungeon of the Otherworldly Visitors subquest. Combine this with the XP artifacts and XP boost from cooking, and you'll level up in no time. Tales of Arise was my first experience with a Tales game, and it did not disappoint. As a result, I look forward to playing the others in the series. If you are like me and hadn't played any of the previous entries, you can hop into Tales of Arise with no issue, as the stories are independent with the exception of some Easter eggs. I really enjoyed the characters, alternating animation styles, and story. At times, it felt like you were watching an anime, especially when the characters would dramatically react to things.
Are you alright? What about the others? Are those bastards still here?
Iron Mask, take it easy. It's alright now.
The real-time combat was fun, as I prefer that style to a turn-based RPG, at least on modern consoles. The adventure was long, but it was well worth the time investment. I recommend this game to anyone who is a fan of the Tales series, or anyone that enjoys JRPGs in general. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for Platinum Review number 10.
Our work is done here. Let's move.
I'm right behind you, Shion.